Back here on CBS Sports HQ, Hakeem Dermish here with you. Week 6 in the NFL highlighted by an AFC showdown. Best in the North against best in the West as Justin Herbert and the Chargers visit Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Chiefs are the worst in the AFC West. They're going to bounce back on the road against Washington. Washington football team chasing the team from Dallas in the NFC East. Cowboys visit the Patriots as they go for a 5th straight win. Back here with Vegas insider Todd Fuhrman and Sportsline analyst Tim Doyle. Week 6 in the NFL highlighted by an AFC showdown. Justin Herbert and the Chargers visiting Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. Both teams coming off big wins in Week 5. Baltimore, a 2.5-point home favorite. Totals 51. Todd, what's your approach in this monster matchup?
You know, for me, Hakeem, I'm going to take up what I think is the value side. Everyone is rallying around the Los Angeles Chargers, and rightfully so, given that this team is 8-1 straight up and against the spread in its last 9 games overall. We can chronicle their success on the road since relocating to Los Angeles from San Diego, 21-10-3. But eventually every stock is overbought. And I think that's what the Chargers are this week and when they travel to Baltimore. This is a Ravens team we saw rally from behind in the fourth quarter against the Indianapolis Colts. But more importantly, over the last 2 weeks, we've seen Lamar Jackson get much more comfortable as a pocket passer of sorts, back-to-back 300-yard games. And when I look at this Chargers defense, they're great preventing big plays, but they're vulnerable to the run. I think the Ravens get back to their bread and butter. You get a little bit of play action here, and you buy low on Baltimore, who's been outstanding on short rest with Lamar Jackson as their starting quarterback.
Yeah, and if you remember early on in the season, the Chargers traveled to the Washington football team, and they were kind of life and death to win that game. And, you know, I don't really think too much of the Washington football team. So, like, now you got to travel back out there. Lamar's stats and his numbers this year are actually better than they were last year when he was the unanimous MVP. So he's doing remarkable things. And did he just feel it, Hakeem, watching that game, that they were going to figure out a way to win? I know a lot had to go their way, but it just felt like during that stretch, like, you could have jumped in so many times and got the Ravens in that spot at like plus 700, plus 500, plus 400. Remember, there were massive favorites in that game over the Colts before it started. But, man, there was so many opportunities. Live betting is the future of betting. This is a great quarterback matchup. That's what's getting all the hype here. But Lamar at home, win by a field goal? Give me that.
Chargers are at the top of the AFC West. The Chiefs are at the bottom. Kansas City got crushed by Buffalo last Sunday night. Chiefs defense, one of the worst in the league. Todd, can KC stop Taylor Heineke and the football team as a 6.5-point road favorite?
You know, honestly, Hakeem, I hope they don't, given the fact that I like this game over the total in the mid-50s. You talked about Kansas City and their defense. They've shown a ton of vulnerability from a yards per play standpoint. That graphic speaks volumes about what we've seen, or more importantly, haven't seen from Kansas City's stop unit. It's put the offense in a bit of a bind. They have to go out there and match their opposition score for score. We saw them get involved in a track meet on the road against another NFC East opponent earlier this year in the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think Washington's defense is extremely overrated. This team feasted on some of the bottom feeder quarterbacks last year. They had a whole lot of buzz and acclaim coming into the season. They've underwhelmed, to say the least. Taylor Heineke can do his fair share. Patrick Mahomes will get his. And I like this game over the total, weather permitting, in the nation's capital on Sunday.
Let's keep dancing, my friend. I'm going to go a little bit more inside the numbers here. I don't trust Heineke, so I'm going to target the team total here for the Chiefs, that they're going to go out there and they're going to be able to score. You see Washington right now, second worst defense in all the NFL, giving up 31 points a game. That's right around where the Chiefs average. Wait, they average 31? And all I have to do is get to 30? This is like, how big of a sledgehammer could I get into the Tropicana in Atlantic City? You know the Chiefs are going to win this game. They're 2-3. This is a get-right spot for them. Get to back to 500, get on the track. And if Andy Reid can go out there and score 45 points, they're going to go out there and score 45. Bet it now. Why is it minus 145? Why don't they just move it to 29.5 or 30? I would lay 31, 32. I think they're a lock in this spot to get 38 points or more. This is the hammer play. Chiefs individual team total over in this spot, Hakeem. The more you bet,
the more you win. Yeah, this is bad defense against bad defense. And also the over 5-0 with Taylor Heineke as a starting quarterback for the football team. So there you have it. I mean, everything, the trend is our friend here. Washington football team chasing the team from Dallas in the NFC East. Cowboys visit the Patriots as a 3.5-point favorite. This season, Dallas 4-1 straight up and 5-0 ATS. Todd, do you like them Cowboys to cover for a 6th straight time?
You know, honestly, Hakeem, this is a game that's really backed me into a corner in terms of trying to identify a side. What's fascinating about watching this line move is that Dallas and look-ahead numbers would have been about a 2-point favorite. These two teams have very different results last weekend, and lo and behold, we see the Cowboys balloon through that key number of 3, but there are some mounting injury concerns, and I know that Jerry Jones and his son have said that Trevon Diggs will be out there. The Cowboys have been a little more reluctant from their medical staff to show that level of optimism. But I look at New England, and I think they realize in this spot they don't have the same firepower as Dallas. The best way to protect their defense is trying to establish a ground game and shorten the contest a little bit. So for me, when I look at the sides, I think the number is extremely fair, right around a field goal. I'm going to go under the total at 50.5. There's no doubt it's correlated to the underdog, but I think Dan Quinn's building something special on that defensive side of the ball, and Bill Belichick's stop unit will be up for the task.
I agree. Todd, I would actually just bet the Patriots just because you're getting points at home with Belichick, but I do agree. I think a majority of the money is going to come on the Cowboys because people are going to go, oh, the Cowboys playing awesome. We just got to lay 3. I feel like the Cowboys are a sucker bet in that spot. So what I'm going to pinpoint here is a player prop. I do not love player props, and here's why. Injuries. It's like guy gets injured, you lose. Like, at least if a guy gets injured, like the team will actually finish the game. But Ezekiel Elliott has been going off as of late. Had a monster game against Carolina, followed that up with another 100-yard effort against the Giants, and he is clearly in the best shape of his life. Yes, he got off to a slow start running the ball against Tampa. Everybody's going to have a slow start running the ball against Tampa. Their line is so ridiculous, and that game kind of went up and down the field. Since then, Ezekiel has eaten last week, caught a touchdown pass as well. He's playing his best football of his entire career. And all he has to do is get to 80 yards in this spot. I think Todd's right. If this is a low-scoring game, you're going to rely on your run. And I think Dallas is at its best. And if you're going to bet the Cowboys, you want it balanced. You don't just want Dak flinging the ball 45 times. Like, you want Dak and Ezekiel to all be on the same page. Laying 3 looks like a sucker play, but I think Elliott in this spot, Hakeem, he's going to eat.
I love this play. Honestly, this is my favorite play of the day from you. This is great. I mean, he's been over 95 yards rushing over the last 3 weeks. You're right, he is. He is going to eat, and hopefully you can cash your ticket right there. All right, let's get your very best ATS wager for Week 6. Get it while it's hot. Tim, what stands out to you? Start with you.
Bears are overrated. Don't jump on and be like, oh, the Bears won it in Las Vegas. Las Vegas was a mess last week. Obviously, the Gruden emails were brewing inside the organization. If you watched that game like I did, man, they just kind of showed up. They had no interest in playing football. So I think this game should be 7.5, 8. Bet it now. Lay 6 with the Packers in this spot. Aaron Rodgers, you know what he does? He eats against the Bears. And I love the fact, he goes, I'll never, and I mean ever, wear a Bears uniform. You know, I have a camera guy here. I'm not going to name his name. Billy. He never wanted to live in D.C., so I'll never live in D.C. What happened? His wife got a job with the government. Last 12 years, he's lived in D.C. Just said, never say never. So, Aaron, according to Billy the camera guy, never say never. But I think 6 is a steal in this spot. Bet it now, bet it now, bet the Packers.
You know, a producer gets in my ear. They say Tim's eating up 97% of the airtime that we've allotted for this segment, so I'll make it short and sweet. Hakeem, I think your beloved Browns are in a tremendous spot here against the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. I'm going to lay the 3 with the home team. I know they're extremely banged up, but the 2 key cogs that missed practice on Friday, Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin, I think this offense can be fine without them. We know there's no Nick Chubb, but that puts a little bit more pressure on Baker and a deep backfield. I think Kareem Hunt can be the bell cow here, and I like the fact that they're getting healthier on the defensive side of the ball against a banged-up Kyler Murray and Arizona offensive line without Rodney Hudson. And the one thing I've seen from Arizona, they don't handle prosperity all that well. I like the Browns to bounce back after that fourth quarter collapse on the West Coast.
Myles Garrett looking to add a Kyler Murray tombstone to his front yard for Halloween. I hope you saw that. That was pretty good. All right, time now for our total wager that you're targeting. Todd, what's the over-under you're targeting in Week 6?
No weather to worry about. We'll go to Indianapolis and go over the total between the Colts and Texans. Davis Mills showed me something last week against the New England pass defense that had shown some teeth previously. And when you look at how Mills has had to start his career playing at Buffalo, not exactly an easy task, and playing against that ferocious Carolina defense in his NFL starting debut. He's going to find a lot smoother sailing here, and I think Houston can do their fair share to get us where we need to go. The Houston Texans defense extremely undermanned, and Carson Wentz starting to build a rapport and a level of confidence with his receiving core. I know it's a divisional game, which is always a little bit scary, but I think both these teams can get comfortably into the 20s. I'm going over 43 at Lucas Oil.
I'm going to go back to the Washington-Kansas City game. Like I said, I think the Chiefs are going to eat in this spot, and then Heineke's going to get enough points. So you can't always believe what you see. I'm going to go over with this total. Like, this looks like a hanky. It's not. It's actually just a paper towel, okay? This is an old TV trick, Akeem.
Yep.
You can make a paper towel look like a hanky. It's one of my go-to moves, okay? Over in Kansas City, Washington.
Sneaky. Todd also likes that, by the way. He loves the over in that game as well. I don't blame him. All right, let's quickly recap their picks in Week 6. Both like the Ravens. Todd's going to play them on the money line at minus 140. Tim going to lay the 2.5. Like the over between Washington and Kansas City, 54.5. Tim also likes that as well as his best total play. Also likes the Chiefs team total over 29 at minus 145. Cowboys and Patriots. Todd likes the under there, 50.5. Tim Doyle likes Ezekiel Elliott over 78.5 rushing yards. He's been over 95 the last 3 weeks. Best ATS play, Cleveland to cover the 3 at home against Arizona. Tim likes Green Bay, minus 5.5 against the Chicago Bears, and their best total, Houston, Indianapolis, over 43. And again, KC, Washington, over 54.5 in our nation's capital. All right, time now for this week's NFL Parlay. Todd and Tim, they love this. Todd, we'll start with you. What'd you put together for us?
Trio of NFL sides, Hakeem, 2 favorites and 1 underdog. We talked about the Cleveland Browns being my favorite ATS wager, so we'll use them on the money line as 1 leg here. Minnesota, I think this is a team that's underwhelmed to start the season, but a pivotal game for them to get back to 500. I'll bet them on the money line against an undermanned Carolina offense. And we'll go for a little upset du jour on Sunday under the bright lights at Heinz Field. Nobody in their right mind should want a piece of Geno Smith. That means it's perfect for me to jump right in. I'll take the Seahawks as my 3rd leg on the money line, and the payout will get us nicely to the window at a shade less than 8-1.
I love where your head's at with Seattle, Todd. I'm jumping in as well. That's a great play. I only have a 2-team, boring parlay. I talked about the Packers. I love them. And how about the Lions? Maybe the greatest 0-5 team ever. They're playing the Bengals. Bengals have played 5 games. 4 of them have ended by the 3 or less. I'm getting 3.5. Ooh, that half point feels pretty good. I'll tell you another thing that's pretty awful. Like, can you see all that makeup? Like, that's embarrassing. Like, is that coming? Look at that makeup. I have to live like that. Like, I'm a man. I'm almost 40, and I got makeup on, but I guess it's good under the lights, Akeem.
Yeah, it does. Makes your skin look good. All right, that's great work, as always, by Tim and Todd. I love it. I never know what I'm going to get here. I just love it. All right, here's a look back at their parlays. Hey, you never know what you're going to get here. This is exciting. Todd likes the Vikings, taking on the Panthers. Likes the Browns on the money line, taking on the Cardinals. And he also likes the Seahawks, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at plus 690. Tim, 2-team parlay here. Packers to cover the 6 against the Bears. Lions getting 3.5 against the Bengals. That pays out at plus 264.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.